Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video we're reviewing the Jeep Wrangler Willys. This one is a two-door, and this is the standard version, so it's an affordable off-roader. Before we get in this video, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to the Doug Smith Dodge Ram Jeep Chrysler here in American Fork for giving me some time with this Wrangler. I'll include a link to their website in the description down below. Also include a link to my car buying guide. Let's get into it. Powering this is a turbo 2-liter 4-cylinder that goes through an 8-speed. Fuel economy is 20 around town and then 23 on the highway, with power outputs being 270 horsepower and then 295 pound-feet of torque. Before we move forward with this review, I do want to mention if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. Starting off, let me know what you guys think about this new color. I think it works out really well on the new Wrangler. Got the Willys decal there, and then the Willys does get the upgraded lights as stock, and then we've got the blacked out grille. You do have the plastic bumper, but it's got recovery points, it's got fog lights, and it has an aggressive enough approach angle that you're probably not going to bang it up. Now the Willys gets these 33-inch tall tires. They are mud terrain tires with these blacked out wheels, which I think look really cool, but this is going to lead to a little bit more road noise. We'll see how bad that is when we drive it. Or how bad it isn't, right? Got the big chunky fender flares. We've got rock rail protection here as well. And I'll actually pop over to the other side so you guys can see the side profile. A little bit less shadow, but pretty cool looking rig. Now this leads us to the key fob. We do have lock and unlock. We've got the Jeep logo there on the back. Now this does come with the more baseline taillights. Got your 4-wheel drive decal there. Spare 33 here on the rear. And then opening that up really easy. Just got to keep pushing a little bit. I'm just going slow because there's a Gladiator behind me and I don't want to hit it. But with the two-door, the big downside is the space behind the second row is pretty much non-existent. I mean, you could, I don't know, maybe fit a duffel bag back there if you put it upright instead of in normal placing, but you can fold down the seats if you need more space. We do have another recovery point here in the back, and there's your side profile on the two-door. Popping inside the two-door here, we do have some soft touch where you rest your arm. Get your mirror adjustments, and then there's a look at the mirrors themselves. And then the two-door has 700 pounds of payload capacity. Now I'm just gonna pull this little loop here to get that part of the seat. So with the two-door, it's not the easiest to access the second row, but it is decently spacious back there. It's got good headroom because of the box seat design, and then legroom. It's not massive, but it's actually not too bad at all. Now front seats are cloth just like the back seats. They have manual adjustments. Get your light controls here on the side, and the steering wheel is also manually adjustable. Now taking a look at the steering wheel, soft touch all around. You've got the kind of like bronze stitching there, center. Radio controls in the back of the steering wheel. We have adaptive cruise control with this. We also have controls for the center. Regular stock on the one side for the turn signal, windshield wiper stock on the other side. And then this has the more baseline gauge cluster, so it doesn't have the fancy screen that shows you what the drive line is doing, but it still shows you vehicle information in the center, so it's got more than enough. Backup camera in reverse, it's got good resolution. And then with the infotainment system, and sometimes it's just with the Jeeps, it takes a second to load because the car's got to warm up and the screen's got to warm up. But anyways, single zone climate with this. We've got the climate controls down below with it as well. And then you can see here with the auto stop start function. And then let's see what this one, yeah, select speed. It's a cool feature on the Jeeps. Why will it not? Do I have to hold it down for a second? There we go. Window controls down below that. Charging ports there. Got auxiliary switches. We do have a rear locking differential with the Willys. You have your off-road plus, 2-speed transfer case, shifter here for the 8-speed. Got some cup holders. This is nice trim in the center console. Not a lot of space, but it does have a USB port. Same with the glove box, no USB port, but not a lot of space. You have a grab handle, manual mirror dimmer with this, and then this has the hard top. As you saw, unpainted, but no top insulation or anything, but still easy to take off. 2025 model year Willys, two-door. So you can see $7,500 for the package. So it ain't cheap by any means. But there's your total MSRP, $46,505. Let's see how it performs. Well, let us set off in the Willys Wheeler. It's always been a cool package on the Wrangler because it kind of gives you lots of off-road capability, but not as expensive or as flashy as the Rubicon. But I will say it's still pretty darn expensive. I know I'll get the comments of people talking about how they paid less for their Rubicon 20 years ago than what this is today, and I'm with you on that. Now the two-door is an interesting rig. It's such a throwback. You just don't have a lot of two-door vehicles. I mean, Ford offers a two-door Bronco, Land Rover offers a two-door Defender, but yeah, other than that, there is not a lot on the market that is still two-door configuration with like an SUV. Used to be a lot more popular, but yeah, there's a lot of reasons. Like, one of the things that I was thinking about recently, this is a complete tangent that is not super important for the review, but I'll still talk about it. Something I was thinking about is a lot of stuff that we use nowadays is just bigger, and so we kind of like need bigger cars, for example. So like one thing would be car seats. I was thinking about this today. I was like, you know what? Back in the day, you could have a family and you could have a smaller car, right? And there wasn't as much safety stuff back then. That is something important to note. Modern car seats are very, very safe, but they're so big that you could not, I mean, yeah, no, you couldn't work a car seat in here. You'd have to have this seat so far forward that the front passenger would have zero legroom whatsoever. And so it's kind of, it makes sense. These modern vehicles have to be bigger because of and there's stuff like other stuff, just like hauling stuff around and everything. I don't know. And also, cars are way more expensive. It used to be that a regular, your average Joe could afford to have something like this and then their daily driver, whereas nowadays it's like you got to be rich to be able to do that. But good torque. The 2.0, I've said this in the past, but the 2.0 feels great in the two-door because the two-door is just a small vehicle. I mean, if I were to become dictator of Jeep, I would make it so that the two-door has the 2.0 and then the Hurricane as an option. And then let's get our acceleration and I'll finish my thought there. Like, it feels genuinely quick. It's not bad. Also the V6, right? Can't forget about the tried and true V6. So yeah, V6, 2.0 turbo, Hurricane, that's in the two-door. The four-door would offer the V6. Well, man, that'd be a lot of engine options. Yeah, I still think it's worth it. V6 and the 2.0 on the bottom. Actually, no, just V6. V6 on the bottom end, and then Hurricane, and then 6.4 Hemi, and then 4xe for the people that want the plug-in hybrid. That's how I would cut that pie. I think the Hurricane would be great in this, and then also in the four-door. But the 2.0's really good in the two-door because the two-door just doesn't have a ton of weight to move around. It's always interesting driving Wranglers on the highway. I mean, I know that this might annoy some of you, but this is why I got rid of my Wrangler personally. I only put, in 2.5 years, I'm someone who drives 40,000 miles a year. I only put 13-something thousand miles on it because I just didn't want to drive it, because most of my driving with work is on the highway. And then the other thing was, like, when I go off-road, I still have to drive on the highway to get the off-road locations. And so it's like, I got so tired of the Wrangler noise. I know for some people it's not that big of a deal because, the convertible life and everything, it's worth it to them. But for me personally, it just, I don't know, the math wasn't mathing anymore. So overall, the Willys package here, the two-door, this is a cool rig. I don't really have any problem. Like, I think this is like the perfect build on a Wrangler. You've got beefy tires, you've got a still solid axles. You've got a 2-speed transfer case. You've got the off-road plus. It has all the off-road stuff, and it's just climate controls. The only thing I'd add to this would be heated seats. That's the only thing that I would change about this particular build. But I do think that I think Jeep needs to make Wranglers cheap again. I think that's what would sell the public on them, because I understand how they've added a bunch of like luxury and modern stuff to it, but I think if they just strip things out more and just made it really, really cheap, like I'm thinking this with a locking differential. Okay, let me know if you'd buy this or not. So basically, hand crank windows. Yeah, I know we're going back there. Still have to have a backup camera because those are federally mandated. But hand crank windows, single zone climate, AC, right? I don't think Jeep should do the no AC thing anymore because that's silly. Rear locking differential, 2-speed transfer case, $30,000, 2-door. I think that's where it should be at. And I think if it was at that point, that's still not dirt cheap by any means, but that is affordable enough that Jeep would then be in the realm of people that they'd still have to make above average income, but like I could see someone that makes like $150,000 to $200,000 then being able to justify buying a 2-door Wrangler as a secondary car and have a daily driver. Just my thought. Let me know what you guys think.